So thank you all for joining. Again, my name is Latanya Bynum, and today we have Mr. Jesus Medrano Palacios. He is a student from the University at Commerce, Texas. He and I have been working together since January on a vision he had for a diabetes education and prevention program. He's done a wonderful job with social media communications, writing, just taking on leadership and making this Educate Yourself program one of his own. This program is accessible internationally. I'm so proud to present his work, and I'm honored to be working with Jesus. I actually met him through a connection with Black Ladies in Public Health, Dr. Wachira. She reached out to me and asked me to come and present. It was this time last year. And I said, yeah, I'll come. You know, I love sharing. So I came up with a top 10 list of resources for emerging professionals to learn more about health education and also needs assessments. And after my presentation was over, Jesus walked up to me and he was like, Latanya, I would love to intern with you. And I was like, I don't know, like I've never had an intern. And so, you know, fast forward to December of 2019, he reached out and he was like, hey, let's fill out these forms and get it going. I'm like, okay, for real. So let's do it. So since January, it has been a pleasure to work with him, learn from him, and just like his go-getter spirit and innovation. I was just so proud to, one, have you on, Dr. Jasmine, to see how Black Ladies in Public Health has helped me personally, but then also my business, but then allowed me to mentor. And through that connection, also, I met Jasmine Guest. And I'm glad to have all of you here. And this is going to be fun. I don't want Jesus to feel stressed or anything, because you're among friends, fellow public health professionals who were in the same position you once were. So we understand completely, don't we, ladies? We do. So without further ado, I will be introducing Mr. Jesus Medrano Palacios, and he will be giving his presentation in both English and in Spanish. So the first 30 minutes will be English, and feel free after that point to, you know, disconnect, but also feel free to listen to him give the same presentation in Spanish. I'm super proud of Jesus. So please give your attention to him. Go ahead, Jesus.
Well, thank you so much, Latanya, for that awesome introduction. Today we'll be talking about the true meaning to #educate yourself. Like Latanya said, my name is Jesus Arturo Medrano Palacios. I am a BSPH candidate. But before I get started, if y'all be nice enough, if you know somebody who has diabetes or maybe a family member, do y'all mind in the chat typing a 1 just to let me know who you might know with diabetes? Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I can see that the majority of you have or know someone with diabetes. So let's get started. So in this slide, we have an overview of what we'll be talking about today, just key notes of today's presentation. Before I get started, I want to thank everyone who just has helped me out through my career or this presentation. Everybody has been helpful, and I'm just very grateful. And I want to name individuals who have really helped me a lot in my career. I first want to start off by my family. Luis, Medrano, Veronica, Raquel, and Diana, they have been there since my youth. Also, Dr. Wachira, she has been an amazing professor who has taught me everything I know today. I was able to use what I learned and put into the presentation. Dr. Quinn, same thing with Dr. Wachira. She's been there as an advisor and just helped me through my career. Also, Veronica Reed and Sarah Toll, they've been there since I was in high school to today. just guiding me in the correct path to be able to get my degree. And all these individuals, I am very grateful for the assistance they provided me with. So every time we do something, we always have a reason behind it. Therefore, with that in mind, this is my reason why I decided to do this diabetes education program. Around this time last year, we conducted a needs assessment as a class assignment, and we were able to determine that one of the biggest concerns in Commerce, Texas, and in Hunt County is diabetes. As we can see, in approximately about 3 out of 10 individuals of Commerce residents rated themselves as unhealthy, leading to about 4 out of 10 of Commerce residents do not engage in any type of exercise. As we can see, this almost half of Commerce residents. So how was the program like? Well, this program was created with the intention of raising awareness and awareness levels and education levels of diabetes. I use a hashtag educate yourself for the sole reason that when we try to help others, we first have to educate ourselves before we can serve as a resource. And this program had 8 sections. Each section had its own specific topic, allowing the program to be accessed remotely. So here we have an outline of the weeks. We can see each week has its own topic, starting from Diabetes 101 and into our final week of how we can all come together to serve as a resource. So what area programs and resources are available locally? Well, we have a top 10 list of resources and programs available that give services at a low cost or even free to the community. This list can be accessed on the page at latanyabynum.com/educate yourself. Here we have a couple of pictures of how the web page look like. On the left-hand side, you can tell that just the topics of the weeks, how they were designed and how they were published. And on the right side, you have pictures of just a general review of the web page. These 3 agencies were amazing partners throughout the program, starting off with Commerce Independent School District. Commerce Independent School District assisted me with marketing the program to the community and specifically to school-age children who might not know much about diabetes, but helped educate them as well. We have Texas A&M University Commerce, who promoted the program and referred individuals to the program from faculty to students as well. And you are a resource center that allowed for this program to be possible as well. So here we have a couple of our top postings on social media that allowed us to have some type of high amounts of connectivity, either through on social media or on the page. This allowed for people to be able to interact and as well as get more people to the program. Target population included residents of Hunt County, Latin American descent, and fluent Spanish speakers. So what were some accomplishments that we got? Here we have top 10 list of our accomplishments, but I really want to touch on 2. We got recognition from local representatives and medical professionals. And from medical professionals, some examples that I gave was Hunt Regional Partners at Live Oak and the Mexican Institute of Social Security. What did I learn from all this? Well, first I want to touch on remote work. Remote work allowed me to be able to learn several lessons, but the top 3 that I really learned was how to manage my own time, independent work, and communication. And also, as we see in our current times, COVID-19, or as most people know as coronavirus as well, is a pandemic all around the globe. And I was able to learn lessons from that too. I was able to learn adaptability. Several events got canceled, and I was able to be able to turn that from in-person kind of presentation to virtually. I also learned mobile development and the true meaning about public health. This program aligned with several agencies, nationally and internationally, and as well as with the core competencies that I learned at the university. Some agencies include the American Diabetes Association, Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, the Mexican Diabetes Federation, and Secretaría de Salud Gobierno de Mexico, or in English, Secretary of Health, Mexican Government. And some of these core competencies were core competencies that I learned in class, but I was able to put them in practice. I would just be naming a few, such as cultural competency skills, communication skills, and program planning skills. These steps were steps that I took for the program to be successful. These steps were key for the program to run smoothly as well. From first couple weeks of literature review to communication with Latanya Bynum, and even communication with our partners as well. So what's next? What are we going to do after I graduate? I will continue to promote the program through several platforms, continue to refer individuals to the program, and this program is meant for accessibility remotely, allowing it to be accessible 24/7 on the page, and the point of contact will now be Latanya Bynum. So with all this program, we were able to collect a little bit of data. Some of the data included constant daily hits of page between 50 to 140, and constant people reach daily on social media between 30 to 130 individuals. As of April 9th, 2020, total hits were 2,309 from the creation of the page in January. It gave us an average of about 3 out of 10 individuals were getting on the page daily. So with that in mind, thank you all for tuning in, listening to me, helping me out with my nerves. Let's connect on social media. Is there any questions or concerns we have today? Please type them in the chat box.
Great job, Jesus. If anybody has, well, first of all, let's unmute if you can and give Jesus a round of applause so he can feel the love. I definitely enjoyed their presentation.
Good job.
Good. Thank you, Jesus, for sharing your work with us. If anybody wants to unmute their phone or, type in the chat any questions you might have, what it was like for me to do this experience with Jesus, knowing that I truly don't like managing anyone, but Jesus made it really easy for me to learn from him, and that was my goal. So any questions? I'll shut up. So Jesus, there's one question in the chat. I'll go ahead and let you moderate.
Yes. What did you find were some of the awareness that was lacking when teaching diabetes awareness? Well, just normal things like knowing what should I be putting in my body, what should I be doing. The normal thing as public health professionals when it comes to diabetes, two major things were diet and exercise. And as discussed before, individuals didn't exercise, and less than that, they weren't putting healthy foods into their body, leading to high obesity rates and high diabetes rates.
And also, Jesus, can you talk a little bit about, since we have a couple of more minutes until 11:30 when you do the Spanish version, can you talk a little bit about the pages? You were posting daily on all these social media websites. You did a slide on, which of the videos had the most hits or were engaged the most. Can you talk a little bit about those videos and what was actually in there? What do you think actually resonated with, the people you were, posting, like your audience? So in the videos, what were they actually about?
Well, I find it very interesting that these videos caught more attention than the regular post.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first video was just kind of like a focus group. It was just individuals sitting in a circle talking about how they felt like with diabetes, and that gave us our first hit of 100 individuals that day on the page. So just making people feel like they're not alone
Mm-hmm.
is what really caught several individuals' attention.
Mm-hmm. People were telling their stories in those videos. And how did you select the videos that you included? Because, for me, I kind of left it pretty much open for you to choose whatever you wanted to post based on each week, each section you wanted to cover. So what were some of the ways that you identified the videos that you selected were, credible sources?
Well, first, I made sure I watched the video myself and made sure that this video was accurate and came from a resource such as a university agency like the American Diabetes Association, any type of those agencies that had a .edu or .gov at the end of their page,
Mm-hmm.
made it more credible than a .net or a .com.
Mm-hmm. Good. Because, as you can see in COVID-19, just on my personal Facebook page alone, I see a lot of people sharing stuff that I'm like, where'd you get that from? And people actually doing these things, drinking things that are actually killing them, thinking that they can be healed or not get coronavirus. So, I applaud you for looking at credible sources. You have another question in the chat if you want to take that.
Did you feel that lack of access to healthy food options were also a barrier to obtaining healthy lifestyles in primarily Spanish-speaking populations? Yes, of course, specifically living in a rural community where there's a lack of everything from resources to foods, just being able to know how to pick, because even though there are limited options, you can still pick out of those options healthy foods, and just making individuals aware of that lets them know that you can still be healthy even if you live in a rural community like Commerce.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Jasmine, I know she's really big about farmers markets,
Yes.
healthy food access. Do you guys do farmers markets, or have you seen one?
Yes, in Commerce there is a farmers market, but
Okay.
I believe they only do it one Saturday out of every month, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So one Saturday a month. So that's good. Any other questions for Jesus? I can go all day. Jesus, can you go back on your presentation and go through?
I have a question that's in the group chat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. Children normally eat what they are fed at home. How did you educate diabetes awareness for the entire family? That's a good question, Rachel. Mm-hmm. That is true. Most children do eat whatever they're fed. So being able to get to the head of the household, whoever the children is living with, whether it's their dad, their mom, their grandparents, just being able to get through them that if you eat properly, you're giving an example to your children that they should eat healthy, and it's like a domino effect. It keeps going, it keeps going. So being able to get to whoever is the person who purchases the meals at their local grocery store, being able to just let them know that you have to eat healthy for your children to eat healthy as well.
Mm-hmm. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just have one more question I want to know. I've heard from certain Hispanic descent individuals that are in public health as well that they found that certain foods that used to be where they're from or at home, they don't have access to that. And sometimes they have trouble acclimating to like the Western diet as well. So that kind of affects, what they can or cannot make, things of that nature. Have you came across any information such as that? Like not having their staple foods accessible here?
That's a good question, Jasmine. Yes, as any other culture, food is not the same as home. but just being able to just keep looking, whether it's in your local farmers market to your local grocery stores. They always here in Commerce, for example, they have their little section of Hispanic food or any type of minority. But just knowing how to properly cook it as well as making it healthy as well is the important factor out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thank you.
This is good. So go back, since it's all about really just sharing some of your experience, Jesus. And we do have a couple of the other interns and mentees. I actually had 3 interns and 28 mentees. So we have a couple of them on the phone as well. So they're actually learning from you, and you're going first and knocking the dust off. Let's go to right here. So in these videos, so since the program was mainly targeted for Spanish speaking residents of Commerce, in terms of transitioning this program to other populations, for example, African Americans or any individuals who want a program that's tailored for a specific culture, what would you recommend as far as finding resources that look like the people you're trying to serve?
I would recommend just being able to find those videos that just have an image, as you can see on the first posting on the left.
Mm-hmm.
You have a guy that looks like a Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
Just find those videos that have, if you were trying to tailor, whether it's a person from African descent or any other descent, just being able to make it look like them, and maybe even try to find it in their own native tongue. Mm-hmm. That way they do understand the information better.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is a good point, because a lot of the stuff that's being put out about, the coronavirus, some of the terms are not familiar to certain cultures of people. And I think this is an interesting thing that you discovered here. The pictures really drive home the point, because I know even when I was in school, if a professor looked like me, it's something about you're drawn to them, like, oh my God, if they can do it, then I can do it. So those stories are great, but then also getting the stories from individuals who look like you, that's so powerful. So I want to applaud you for the colors you picked, with the flyer, the red, the black, and the white. Some of those colors remind me of like the piñatas, the Mexican piñatas, or what do you call that thing? Yeah, that is a piñata. But the colors are very important. So I like the way you pick those. Let's see, Jasmine.
I believe we have one more question from Jasmine Ward. How are you navigating the diversity within Latins and Hispanic diets from various places, such as Colombia versus Mexico? Okay. That's a good question. It is different, but at the same time, it's very similar in the sense that it comes from that same kind of general area. But I would have to get back to you with further information on that, Jasmine. Email me, and we could continue our conversation.
That's good.
Okay. This is Jasmine. I just wanted to say this is a great presentation. I really appreciate the effort that you've taken and initiative you've taken to do this work. As a recommendation and just thinking about this, I know that in terms of food and food systems, we know that they're very different depending on where you live and the access that you have to, things that are local to you. And so the reason I asked that question is because I recognize that sometimes we have a misconception that everyone eats the same because they speak the same language or something, Yes. And so it's really when we think about cultural competency, it's important to even if you just acknowledge that there are differences, even within group, and that, you know, while you speak for a general population in this work, that there will be differences. My daughter, I have a host daughter who's from Colombia, and I just know that when she first came to live with me, a lot of people would say, oh, let's take her to a restaurant that was a traditionally Mexican restaurant. And so she doesn't eat spicy foods, for instance, and the arepa is different than a tortilla. So there were things that were little nuanced things that I think people that were from outside of her culture, that they really didn't understand that was a real thing, believe it or not. And so it's important that we recognize the diversity there and the fullness of communities of color especially within the United States. So thank you for the work that you're doing. And I think, you know, there's only more to come for sure.
Yes, of course. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you, Dr. Jasmine. Dr. Jasmine, can you kind of introduce yourself? You kind of just jumped on in there. Had it not been for you, this project probably would have never taken place. Can you introduce yourself to everyone on the call real quick?
Sure. So I am not looking presentable. I've had like 5 calls this morning. I'm the founder of Black Ladies in Public Health. I live in Texas. I'm in Arlington, Texas. I also had a student who interned with me last year that was from Commerce. So I think that the work that's going on there is so important. And I'm just really impressed with this project.
Thank you, Dr. Jasmine. Before we move on to the Spanish version of the presentation, I'm going to introduce Jesus again and tell a different story before he goes in. But are there any other questions, or Jesus, do you have any final comments before we transition to the 1130 people?
No, just thank you once again for joining and allowing me to present this to you guys. Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you. And Hermint had a comment there on the chat.
Yes, culturally competent resources is very important given the language the population are comfortable speaking. Great job. Even the racial and ethnic diversity among Latin and Hispanic communities. Thank you. Yes, it is true that we have to give those resources to each individual culture. So I do agree. Thank you.
So let me ask you this. Jesus, do you want to start directly at 1130? You think the people that are joining for the Spanish version want you to start directly at 1130? So you want to take just a 4-minute break, or would you like to continue? It's up to you.
Yeah, we can start at 11.
I would like to ask Jesus, what are your plans? What are your plans after this?
Yes, my plans. Well, I really want to be able to just continue educating the community any way possible. Kind of work. I want to get certified as a community health worker, and just be able to serve specifically minorities and specifically Latin American descents. Just be able to kind of go back home in the sense of being there for my own community as well and educating them in any way possible.
I have a quick question, Latanya, that I'd like to ask Jesus. I know we're running on time, but just to relate the work that he's doing with COVID-19, I came kind of late, so I'm not sure if he addressed this, but has the Latino community in Texas, or just in general, when it comes to diabetes, and how they're handling a lot of the stay-at-home orders, or the fact that they need to social distance, how is that impacting their diet? How's that impacting the way that people are choosing to get food and choosing to, feed their families with everything that's happening now?
Yes, thank you. That is a big impact on Latin Americans and Hispanic cultures in Texas, and specifically in Hunt County, being that, as we all know, they specifically Hispanic and Latinos like to come together, the family or friends eat, whether it's in your house or in anybody's house. So not being able to do that kind of differs from being able to have that authenticity of food. And sometimes within like an example will be in Commerce, Texas, where I live at. It's a very rural community where there's not much authentic food or diet for cultures. So people would have to travel to Dallas, Texas, or Fort Worth, Texas, to be able to get that authenticity. And with shelter in place going on, people will not be able to, are not able to do that. So it has impacted the big effectively on their diet.
Mm-hmm. Did that answer your question, Hermance?
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Any other question? We have one more minute before I'll introduce Jesus again. Any other questions? This has been great, guys. I really do appreciate everybody participating and being here. Okay, so ready. So we'll give them one more minute, Jesus, and I'll introduce you for the Spanish presentation, okay? Do you want to go ahead and start the first slide? Or...
Yes. Just let me answer this one last question real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please, if I say your name, please forgive me. Shakia Jackson. How do you address and educate communities with food deserts? How can they access healthy food? That is a big issue, and specifically like Commerce, where not much healthy options. But even though you have limited options, there's still some type of healthy option. And just being able to let them know that, hey, at Walmart or your local grocery store, there are vegetables, there are fruits there that you can still purchase and eat instead of your cookies or whatever junk food they have available. You can still make healthy options and still make it sweet with those vegetables or fruits or your grains. So just let them know that, hey, you do have access, even though you live in a limited resource community.
Did that answer your question, Shakia? Yes, she said thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so hold on, let me go settle my kids down and right back. Okay, are we ready, Jesus, for the Spanish version of the presentation?
Yes.
Once again, great job. I knew you would do well with the presentation, so I look forward to listening in on the Spanish version. So thank you all for joining. Again, my name is Latanya Bynum. I am the founder and CEO of You Are a Resource Center, LLC, located here in Conway, Arkansas. Today, we have a presentation by Mr. Jesus Medrano Palacios, and a little bit about what I want to tell you guys about the Spanish version that resonates with me. So when I was an undergraduate student, like Jesus is now, going to UCA, University of Central Arkansas in Conway, my minor was Spanish. And so when I graduated, I could actually speak fluently. I could answer phones, and I was the ish in Arkansas, if you will. And so when I applied for my first job at the Arkansas Department of Health, that's actually how I got my first job. I didn't have any experience in public health. However, they saw that I could speak Spanish. And so the manager, Mr. Ed Carson, said, Latanya, well, if you can speak Spanish, you can easily learn SAS programming language. So how many of you are familiar with SAS? Type a 1 in the chat if you are. SAS is a programming language that allows you to collect, analyze, and disseminate public health data. And so through SAS, I was able to build my career starting off as a secretary and moving through the ranks of the health department. After 13 years of service, I moved from a secretary to a senior analyst. And so Spanish has been godsend for me Now that I don't have a conversational partner and Jesus and I did not conduct his internship in Spanish, you know, that skill set has kind of wavered since then. So it really is exciting to almost listen to Jesus give this presentation and maybe pick up a couple of the words that he will be using, but then also as you're listening, I want you to be listening in for things that you might understand, words you might pick up on. Because a lot of times when we're serving as public health professionals, there's not always an interpreter or translator nearby who can help us. So now that we have access to Jesus and his brilliant public health, you know, skills, we can also connect with him. So if we're in a position where we're connecting with Spanish-speaking people, that he could be a resource for us. So I want you guys to help me to introduce Mr. Jesus Medrano Palacios, once again, giving his presentation in Spanish. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you. Bueno, hoy hablaré, mi nombre es Jesús Arturo Medrano Palacios, soy candidato a licenciatura de Ciencias en Salud Pública. Estoy un practicante estudiantil del Centro de Recursos URA. Hoy hablaremos del verdadero significado de #Edúcate. Con eso en mente, antes de que empiece, ¿quién aquí conoce a alguien o tiene un familiar o amigo que tiene diabetes? Si es cierto, por favor pongan un número en el chat, el número 1 en el chat. Ok, gracias. Podemos ver que sí hay gente. Vamos a pasar adelante. Aquí tenemos una visión general de lo que hablaremos hoy en esta presentación. Estos son factores importantes que hablaremos durante el día de hoy. Primero, antes de que empiece, quiero agradecerle a la gente que me ha ayudado con este programa y especialmente con mi carrera a largo plazo, empezando con mi familia, Luis, Verónica, Raquel y Diana Medrano. También quiero agradecerle a la doctora Elizabeth Washira, como la conocemos en clase, a la doctora I. También quiero agradecerle a la doctora Huen Deng, que ella también ha sido me ha dado mucho apoyo durante todo mi tiempo como en las clases y como para mi licenciatura también. También estoy agradecido con mucha gente, también Verónica Reed y Sarah Toh, que han hecho este programa y también me han ayudado en mi carrera estudiantil desde la preparatoria o la secundaria hasta hoy en día. Ahora vamos a hablar un poco de los antecedentes. Cuando nosotros hacemos algo, lo hacemos con una razón en mente, lo hacemos porque ya tenemos una razón. Pues lo mismo sucede hoy, como para un proyecto o una tarea escolar. Durante la primavera de 2019, conducimos una evaluación de necesidades en el pueblo de Commerce y pudimos ver que uno de los riesgos más altos que había, o una de las preocupaciones, es el diabetes. Podemos ver que 3 de 10 personas de los residentes de Commerce se consideran insalubres y casi el promedio de 4 de 10 de los residentes no participan en ninguna actividad física. Y eso es casi la mitad. Entonces podemos ver la preocupación también de los profesionales de salud, especialmente con el transporte y el bajo nivel de socioeconómico. Entonces, ¿de qué era el programa? ¿Cómo se trataba? ¿Cómo lo escribiría? Podemos ver que el programa estaba hecho con la idea de aumentar los niveles de conciencia y de educación sobre la diabetes. Usé el #Edúcate porque la mayoría tratamos de ayudar a otros que tienen cualquier enfermedad como la diabetes, pero no sabemos nada de ello. Entonces es esencial que nosotros nos eduquemos. Y este programa tenía 8 secciones, que cada sección fue adaptada a un tema y estaba hecho para ser accesado remotamente. Aquí tenemos el esquema de las semanas. Podemos ver que cada semana tenía su propio tema y podemos ver que la primera semana era comprender los principios de diabetes y también la octava semana, cómo nosotros nos podemos unir y poder ayudar a los demás, con nosotros como estudiantes, como familiares, como amigos, cómo estar ahí para las personas que tienen diabetes. Aquí tenemos una lista de los 10 mejores recursos y programas en la área. Ellos tienen servicios que dan servicios a un costo mínimo o ir hasta incluso gratuito. Y esta lista puede ser accesada en la página de internet latanyabynum.com/educateyourself. Aquí tenemos unas imágenes de cómo se miraba la página de internet. Podemos ver que en la parte izquierda están las secciones que estaba hablando, cómo fueron diseñadas, cómo fueron publicadas para llamar la atención. Y la parte de la derecha podemos ver que las fotos generales de la página de internet. Aquí tenemos unos socios que realmente me ayudaron mucho para poder darle promoción a este programa. Tenemos el Distrito Escolar de Commerce. Ellos ayudaron a promocionar el programa a la comunidad y también a estudiantes que eran de la edad de 4 a 18. Tenemos la Universidad de Texas A&M en Commerce, que ellos también promocionaron el programa a las facultades, a los profesores y a los estudiantes que van a esta universidad en particular. Y también tenemos a los socios del Centro de Recursos URA, que ellos daban la oportunidad de que todo esto fuera posible. Aquí tenemos unas publicaciones que puse en las redes sociales de cómo estas redes sociales agarraron la interacción de la gente en cantidades altas, sea en redes sociales como Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, o también haciéndole clic en la página de internet. Y la población del objetivo también incluía a residentes del condado de Hunt, Texas, descendientes de Latinoamérica y hispanohablantes con influidez. Y así ellos me pudieron también ayudar a promocionar este programa. ¿Qué logramos con este programa? ¿Qué fue el éxito? Aquí se puede ver la lista de los 10 éxitos que tuvimos, pero quiero hablar en especial con 2. Tuvimos reconocimiento de representantes locales como el alcalde de la Universidad de Commerce y también el Distrito Escolar de Commerce. Y también tuvimos reconocimiento de profesionales médicos como Hunt Regional Partners at Live Oak y también el Instituto Mexicano del Seguro Social. Aprendí muchas lecciones durante la temporada de este trabajo, empezando con el trabajo remoto. Pude aprender cómo administrar mi propio tiempo, trabajar independiente y la comunicación constante con Latanya Bynum y también con los socios del programa y también con el COVID-19 o coronavirus, como se conoce en español. Pude aprender también lecciones de ello. Tuve que aprender la adaptabilidad. Había eventos que yo iba a ir, pero se cancelaron o se cambiaron virtualmente. Entonces, eso me ayuda a aprender eso. También el desarrollo móvil y el significado verdadero sobre la salud pública. Este programa se alineaba con varias agencias nacionales y internacionales y también con las competencias básicas que aprendí en la universidad. Primero se alineaba con agencias como la Gente Sana 2020, Asociación Americana de Diabetes, Instituto Nacional de Salud, Federación Mexicana de Diabetes y la Secretaría de Salud del Gobierno de México. Y estas competencias básicas son algunas competencias básicas que aprendí en la universidad, en clase, como teoría, y las pude también poner en práctica. Y no les voy a nombrar algunas como la dimensión comunitaria de habilidades de práctica, a habilidades de comunicación y habilidades de competencia cultural. Entonces, aquí son algunos pasos que yo tomé para que este programa pudiera estar suavemente, corrido suavemente y también que tuviéramos éxito. Podemos ver que desde el principio, las primeras partes de semana se llenó de revisión de literatura y luego el contenido fue publicado semanalmente en la página web y también en redes sociales. Y también la comunicación, siempre la comunicación fue constante entre socios y entre Latanya Bynum. Entonces, ¿cuáles son los próximos pasos? ¿Qué voy a hacer después de que me gradúe? Primero voy a seguir promocionando el programa a través de varias plataformas y también voy a seguir mandando y refiriendo personas al programa. El programa va a ser disponible por la página web 24/7 y también el punto de contacto se va a pasar a Latanya Bynum. También pude coleccionar algunos datos, algunos números con el fin de este programa. Podemos ver que tuve visitas diarias constantes en la página web de entre 50 a 140. También tuvimos gente constantemente conectada diariamente en las redes sociales entre 30 a 130 y tuvimos visitas totales de 2.309 a partir del 9 de abril de 2020. Eso nos da un promedio de aproximadamente 3 a 10 personas visitaban la página diariamente. Con eso les agradezco que me hayan escuchado con esta presentación. Por favor, conéctense conmigo en mis redes sociales. ¿Hay alguna pregunta o comentario que me quieran dejar saber?
Gracias. Once again, great job. We have Dr. Washira on the call. So good to see you. I'm very happy with this internship, Dr. Wachera, with Jesus. It has been wonderful to work with him. I was telling Dr. Jasmine, had it not been for her, I would have never connected to you to see all the wonderful things that you're doing with your own career. But what are some thoughts? I don't know what part you came in on, Dr. Wishira, but can you talk a little bit about, because we have Rachel here. Let me introduce you guys. It's okay, don't say anything. But we have Rachel Hewlett, who she and I, we worked together at the Arkansas Department of Health, where she served as one of the epidemiologists. We also have Ms. Hermis Mastoso. Say it for me, Hermis, so that I don't butcher your last name.
Matsosa.
She and I met through Women in Public Health, but then also Black Ladies in Public Health originally. But, all of us are interested in improving public health. And with Jesus coming on board as an emerging public health professional, I just want to say, well done, Jesus, because, starting out, and I'm not kidding, starting out when I was just thinking about public health and trying to change my major to find a way to graduate, and I ran into health education, you more or less have hit the ground running. The Spanish speaking skills that you have, the innovation of seeing how you can use a website to develop a program that's accessible internationally. There's so many things that you can do. So I see so many strengths in what you're doing. So back to Dr. Washira, can you share a little bit about your course and your ideas for Jesus, and anything, talk about anything you want to do. First of all, congratulate him because he's done excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, guys. My way.
Hey, this is Dr. Cher or Dr. E. Jesus Medrano Palacios. That's how I used to call him, and he would answer. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous job. I mean, amazing. So he has done wonderful. And he knows that. And this is exciting to see something, to see the examples and pushing students to just be and do and that they can, and to know that somebody listens and to see that they did and they made it their own. So it's exciting. I think anybody in the education world, I mean, I'm doing flips all over the place. Okay? You may not see it, but I'm doing flips. So yes, great job, Jesus. I'm proud of you. And so the course that Jesus came in, he was in 2 classes at once with me, which in and of itself, because the word on the street is I go hard. But this is the reason why. This is the reason why, right? And the best way that I have learned is by doing service learning, and that is the uh, the platform that I use, where whether it's in epidemiology, where he took that class and they had to do an epi paper, or the needs assessment. That was the first time, the first time teaching that class in that way. And so I challenged them to go out and do a needs assessment in our community, because why not do something that benefits not only our community, but the students, because they get to learn what public health is, needs assessment, talking to people, keeping people in the center of everything, which is the best thing you can do in creating a program. So I'm sure Jesus can give you the backdrop on the students. They were like, oh, Dr. E, what is this? This is too much. I'll never use this. But man, Jesus is the perfect example of, if you trust the process and you put in the work, and then you have people that will push you and won't let you be mediocre, this is what happens, right? And so the project was a needs assessment, and rather than them just doing it in theory, we have a community. The university sits on a rural community, so we know the disparities there. The healthcare resources, public health infrastructure is not there, but I pride my students and brag on my students in terms of, we are the public health workforce in Commerce, Texas. And that's how I treat them. I tell them, you are the solution to this community. We may not have doctors, but we have public health. And when you have that, you got what you need. And hey, that's a song. You got what I need. Anyway, that's another story. But so yeah, so they did that, and the topic that the group worked was one that Jesus run with, and you could tell he loves that. And I always tell my students, find your place at the table. You have a place at the table. You just have to find it. And if nobody will give you a seat, pull up the seat from the side and pull yourself to that table, because you have something to bring and to use whatever resources and skill sets you had. And I had already told Jesus, listen, your Spanish speaking, that in and of itself is enough. You have something that I don't have, because you can learn, you can get the skills, but being able to speak Spanish, being able to speak another language, whether it's SAS or a tech language, use what you know, use what you love, and make a difference in your community. And this project, I know, is near and dear to Jesus's heart, because one, it serves the community that he belongs to. And rather than me going into that community, Jesus is there. He's a gatekeeper in his community. So it's exciting. This whole project personifies very, very beautifully how to do public health. To be a gatekeeper in your community, to make an impact in your community, using what you know and finding that place at the table. So again, Jesus, great job. Thank you, Latanya, for just being the push queen. I mean, just will not let us sleep, okay, on our skill sets. And thank you for that, for reminding us that we really are a resource. And thank you for first being that resource to allow us to see that we can also be that. And that is what Jesus and myself, have learned from all of this. So thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Witcher. Before I cut more into the Spanish-speaking version of the presentation, I do have my mentee who also speaks Spanish, Gabriela Calvi. I don't know if you can unmute your phone to speak to Jesus, maybe ask him any questions. This is really your time, the Spanish speakers, and for us English speakers to learn and maybe pick up some words. So Gabriela, feel free to unmute your phone and talk to your your friend Jesus here.
Good morning, buenos días. This is, I wasn't expected to talk.
It's okay.
Gracias por la invitación. Mucho gusto, Jesús. Mi nombre es Gabriela Calvi. También soy educadora profesional de la salud pública y trabajo para el departamento de Dallas County en la división de enfermedades agudas, communicable disease en inglés. Entonces, estoy a la orden. Y también, I have a podcast, 100% in Spanish, so I serve the Spanish population where I educate, inform the Hispanic people complex health issues, because, you know, public health, we use very complex language jargon, and there's a lot of health literacy issues where I have seen in my Spanish community. And so I use very simple health terms to help the Spanish population. So each week I talk about different issues on my podcast. So I am very very active on my Instagram account and LinkedIn. So, gracias.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. See there, you have a connection. See there, that's good.
Yes, I would like to invite you, Jesus, to my podcast, and so we can talk about diabetes. Diabetes was my first topic that I talk on my podcast, and it wasn't that good because it was my first episode, but I would like to dive in. So yeah, very important. And yeah, my podcast is Buenos Dias Salud, like good morning health.
That's good. See there, Jesus, you're gonna be a podcaster before long.
Yes.
Yeah, so hey, Gabriela, if you could type your Instagram account, some of your information about, hold on.
See, I'm trying to see where that will be.
Over, Jesus, because I have to go handle some things.
Where's the chat room in here? Oh, yeah, I see it.
Jesus?
Yes.
Hi. So I'm just blown away. I'm loving this right now. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning, and I'm still awake. Okay, so that means I'm really, really loving this right now. I did. My background is, you know, not just public health here in the United States, but it's global health. And so I've had how I learned Spanish and became really more familiar with the Latino community is that I lived in Ecuador for a year, years ago. And from there, I just was full of I learned a lot, put it that way. Not only when it came to just public health, but every other, aspect of the Latino culture in Ecuador, I can't say, but it's given me time to travel elsewhere. And so knowing that the Latino culture from what I know in Texas is like third, fourth, fifth generation, right? But that's also coming in those fifth generational Latino Americans are also living with those who have just come to the United States, right? And so there is a difference in that also, at least from what I've been told. So having said that, for you, just a suggestion is, getting to learn what public health programs and initiatives are happening in those countries in Latin America, and using that information to better connect with those new Latinos who are just arriving. Because what that happened, I know when I did that for various different communities that I've worked for, it helped with the connection. Because it wasn't just, this is how public health is done. I know how public health is done here in the United States for, your community, but I also know what you're used to in your own country and how things are done. And believe it or not, there are a lot of great initiatives. If you go look on PAHO, as well as WHO and UNICEF, there's a lot of great programs, especially for diabetes, but a lot of great initiatives that are, I sometimes feel are better than some of the work that we're doing here in the United States, and some of the way that health workers are being used to connect with the communities and how the activities that they're using. So I really would encourage you to look outside of the United States to find initiatives that would work for the communities that you do serve here in the United States. Does that make any kind of, does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I've been up since 3, so I'm not sure if I'm making any kind of sense right now. But yeah, definitely look outside of the border. You know, for me, I think the United States is global. And many times we like to say, oh, it's the United States and then the rest of the world. But we forget that the rest of the world a lot of times is right here. So, yeah. Okay, then, yeah. All right, then.
What I came up with was local is global. That's what I always think of whenever you say anything or meant about global work going on. It really happens locally first. Jesus, any other questions as we wrap up? It's on the 12 o'clock hour. I want to be mindful of people's time. I really do appreciate each of you joining. Jesus has put his contact information out on the presentation here. If you would like a copy of the presentation, feel free to reach out to him on an individual basis. Any other last comments, remarks, Jesus? You have anything to share with us about this experience, your feelings right now?
Well, thanks. Thank you to all for listening in. I know specifically with Dr. Wachira, or as we know her in class, Dr. E, just starting off from spring of 2019 and having a needs assessment of, I remember it being about a little over 100 pages, and just having her read it, it was a lot of work, but what I learned, I really do appreciate what I learned and being able to put it into use, not only with this program, but also in the future. So thank you, Dr. Wachira, and thank you to everybody as well as for allowing me to do this and assisting me as well.
If there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.
Are you looking for a job now?
Yeah, let's talk about that, Jesus.
Yes.
Dr. Jasmine asked you about that.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So what would be the ideal job for you? Not, I understand, you know, besides a good salary, what would be the ideal job? What would resonate with you?
My ideal job would be just in a place where I can educate others as I have educated my own family, educate my own community, be able to branch out and just continue that education. Whether it's with diabetes, whether it's with any other disease, just let them know that we are here for them. So anywhere possible.
And you're looking to stay home, or you're open to going other places in order to get that information to come back home?
I'm looking anywhere from going, I could stay home, or I can move out of state, or anywhere possible.
All right. LaTanya, you can share my information with him. I would love to, share your resume with my network.
That's good.
Where are you located, Jesus?
I am currently located in Commerce, Texas, Hunt County. Mm-hmm. Since you work in Dallas County, I'm about a little over an hour, 30 minutes from northeast of Dallas.
Northeast. Okay.
Hunt County, going towards Texarkana.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll keep an eye.
So if you guys want to reach out to him, or, you know, hey, I told Jesus, you know, I still have a day job myself, and if I could bring him on full time, he'd be my first person to bring on, you know, just to run this program on this website and see it move forward. So right now I'm in the middle of getting a couple more contracts under my belt. And I'm talking to Jesus about his consultant fee even now. So that's why I had him to put up his payment methods so that people who need him can reach out to him, and also know that he is there to help us make a difference. But then also as far as consulting with him, we can pay him to bring him in. So definitely that is on the top of my mind first and foremost. And we're going to be working towards some things on getting his resume in order. We've already talked about a couple of things. So want to thank Jesus again. Feel free to connect with him, program his number into your phone so that if you run into anyone who might benefit from knowing him as far as a public health professional now, or just, you know, any resources that you might need, contact him. But if there's nothing further, Jesus, I'll let you close this out.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and please feel free to log off while I also end the meeting as well.